hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast.
I've got my stuff up. I need to log in here. Come on, pull up. Hit the thumbs up. There's 9 people. Only 1 thumbs up. Morning, Slappy. Slappy, you've been commenting like crazy on the Spotfiy ones. I get 2-3 comments a day. One's from Slappy. Gilead. What do you want to know about Gilead? Trent, what do you like about it? You tell me about Gilead. I mean, it's healthcare. Do I love healthcare? Nah. I'm not good at healthcare. Strong buy. Quant likes it. Chart likes it. 4-hour algorithm, not great. 15% versus 42% buy and hold. You win 32% of the time. It's health. I mean, it's biopharma. Yeah, biopharmaceutical company. I know nothing about it. And with the biopharma, I don't know the products. I have no idea. I really, Trenton, I have no idea about biopharma. And the key with Bristol Myers, with Pfizer, with Moderna, with Gilead is about knowing the products. And unfortunately, I just don't know the products. And so I would literally be relying on this. So when I tell you, hey, tell me what you like about it, do your elevator pitch. The valuation, challenging valuation landscape with the forward PE, growth metrics present a mixed picture. Profitability, Gilead, exceptional profitability with an EBITDA margin of 47%. Momentum is robust. 1-year price performance of 52%. That's fantastic. Positive HIV franchise. The company is poised for significant growth. I mean, that's where you want to go into, is reading these particular articles, because that's going to be, that's going to be the key. I mean, you can ask me about the stock, but with biopharma, it is, you're going to see big. I mean, look at, mRNA. This is a biotechnology company as well. I mean, do you not like this one? Why don't you like this one? I mean, that, strong sell in the quant. So Gilead, for me, if you're interested in biopharma, have at it. But you've got to do a lot of research for me in biopharma. And that's why I just, I would totally recommend it based on just the chart and the strong buy and seeking alpha. But I'm probably not doing you any favors in biopharma by saying, hey, go and get this one. Large cap tech, a chart like that with a strong buy and the valuation is the only thing that's holding it down. Absolutely. Go and freaking buy it. Yeah. TGTX. What is TGTX? Yeah, therapeutics. Same thing. Strong buy. It's one of those where you could pick out this, Gilead's number 5, TGTX. You could probably pick out the top 10 and do a research thing on that one. What up, Sir Ryan? SMCI, I mean, shit. I got to tell you, I mean, SMCI for me, it's been painful. And I just haven't wanted to get back into it, but it's an interesting one. So, okay, I'm going to look at, we're going to do some scans. Should I do scans today? Let me see. Yesterday was an up day, so I'd probably get a lot of scans. You know what? I'm not going to do scans because if you want the 4-hour algorithm, you can get it and you can scan against it by getting Trendspider. But I am, for paid members, going to look at this particular article, stock sell-off / needed market cap for new Russell 2000 editions. I thought this was interesting. Full disclosure, I had no idea what this says, but I found some opportunity. So I thought that was good. I had a social request from from somebody on Spotfiy about, I'm young and I'm focused on the Mag 7. What about the buy and hold strategy? And since that's my strategy, I figured I'd address it. There's an earnings today. This is one that I went over for paid members. So I'll if you're interested in this one, I mean, there's 2 different articles. I gave my thoughts on it to the paid members, but it does include that one. I also have a interesting one that I've owned before. I don't currently own it, but they announced a $3 dividend to be paid in March, at the end of March, on a $19 stock. Go and do that yield percentage because it's crazy. But I'll talk about that one, kind of what I've learned in the past with owning that particular one. It was good. It's been a rough quarter. We scanned for stocks with quarterly relative performance score. I'll talk about this. I think AVGO, Broadcom, is one of the best ones. We'll look at those. Gilead is actually, ironically, Trenton, it's on here. So, figure out a strategy. And that's part of the thing about figuring out a strategy is, do you want a technical strategy or do you want a fundamental stock that you can buy and hold? I like to implement both, but it doesn't mean you have to implement both. This was crazy. Jim Cramer is saying at some point this year that Tesla will hit 500, and he uses Larry Williams charts to do it. It's a great video. I just think, Larry Williams has been a great chartist. This is Ron Barron from yesterday talking. He knows something, and something's out there because he's always bullish on Tesla, but even in the face of it being down, he was so bullish. We'll go over the QQQ stock chart yesterday because it's interesting. This was such a great little clip, and it's all of like a minute and a half. This was a fantastic clip from Josh Brown. And it goes over, I'll kind of go over it, why he thinks the market is going down. We had jobless claims this morning, nothing burger. We'll talk about jobs numbers. We had more inflation data. I'll talk about that one. And yesterday was the anniversary of Jim Cramer saying nothing wrong with Bear Stearns. And 6 days later, the stock went to zero. We're coming up on the 6-year anniversary of the COVID crash, the 5-year anniversary, sorry. 5-year anniversary. So that's kind of what I'm going to go over. And I'll sprinkle in some charts in here, things of that sort. Yeah, I mean, it should be a 30 to 40 minute show. So it should be an interesting one, but you'll hear dogs in the background. You'll hear all the fun. I did get on Facebook a request to do a full Gary Story episode, which I'm thinking about doing, but I told my girlfriend last night we need some props. I need a rocking chair, a blanket, and a pipe to tell the full story. So I'll get that out to folks. The one that I am working on, by the way, and full disclosure, well, I can't show it to you right now because I'd have to go into too deep into some of the Substack stuff, which might show some email address, and I'm pretty careful about what I show. But I am working on 10 prompts to put into any AI tool and turn it into your own, like Trenton, you just asked about Gilead. These are prompts where you could put in the stock symbol or the name of the company or a sector, and it comes out with pretty much an AI, here's the reality of the situation for the stock. So if you're into that kind of stuff, 10 prompts, and it's pretty good. I mean, honestly, I probably find 4 of them useful. But I found it on Twitter. It's a really good list. I've used it a couple of times and I like it. Okay, let me look at my accounts pre-market because I want to look at my Webull account. I have a Webull account. I'm down 0.34%, and it's basically Bitcoin that's taking me down, IBIT, which I'm still, by the way, up 5% overall on my purchases, even though I bought some at like 50, 54, 55, 56, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I'm down because it's now trading at 46. But I bought so much down in the 40s that I'm still up 4% on that one. And that's a pretty big position. That's the largest position in my Webull account. The second largest position is NVIDIA, and I am down 0.52% at 116 because I've been buying at the 100 level. So that particular, and we're talking about $5,000 on IBIT, $2,000 on NVIDIA, so it's not life-changing for me. The third largest position is Apple, which is about $1,000. I am up 28% on that one. Even with it trading at 216, it's just a long-term buy and hold. I haven't sold any of the Apple position in that. The next largest is Tesla, which I'm up 8% on, which is trading at 246. That's only $400, so it's not much. But that's my buy and hold on Tesla. But the 4-hour algorithm, let's see. You know what? I am going to do a scan. Yeah, we're going to do scans because Tesla has a scan. So we're going to go over here to the scanner and we're going to start scanning. And we're going to include that in the scans. Tesla, MPLX gets an entry. Google, Cleveland Cliffs, Dell, NVIDIA, Amazon, PanW. Yeah, I started buying. Well, remember, that is in my Webull account. I have some I think in the 30s in my main Fidelity account, Chris. So it's not all, but I don't think that my Fidelity account is positive. So let's see. EAT, AGX. EAT just got one. Wow. Huh. If you're not buying EAT, it's an interesting one. Bitcoin, we're not going to put that in. Let's look at energy names. Did energy had a good day yesterday? MPC, Venom, and ET, UTG, ARLP. I need to update that one. Leveraged. Oh, God. For our too long of a list. Low cost Vanguard. Nothing in those spider sectors. Let's see if any sectors. XLU. XLU. Let's see the watch list. The watch list should have a bunch. Yeah. The watch list has a lot. Wow. I mean, Aristonet. Is that one turning around? Sterling Industries. Is that one turning around? CrowdStrike. That one seems to pop. AppLovin, has that found a bottom? Because it's definitely button hooking up. GLW, which is Corning, button hooking up. Got past the support level of the previous all-time high where it pulled back. Screaming buy. ARM is in the range between 99 and 174. Starting to turn around. MPC, Marathon Petroleum. That one I wouldn't necessarily get into just looking at the chart. Again, this is how you look at this 4-hour algorithm. This is how good I've gotten at this 4-hour algorithm. Dell, it's button hooking, but again, looking at that chart, lower highs, XOVR, which is the this is the private equity one with what is it? SpaceX exposure, and it's crashed. And Shark Ninja is down at $91. I mean, it's clicked off that 112. When does that old support turn into old resistance turn into new support? Peloton is in the watch list. The only reason this is in the watch list is because it could be a turnaround, but I don't think that it is. Sentinel One got hammered yesterday, and while it's got an entry in the 4-hour, in pre-market, it is down 9%. Wouldn't be worth even putting in a newsletter. Toast is a great stock. The valuation's a little bit stretched, but it's a great stock. NTAP, NetApp, great software company. I like that earnings dip. There's a gap here that should get filled, even though, again, that's earnings related. Reeves Utility Income, UTG, is a good one. BITO, which is ProShares Bitcoin ETF. We've got Tech, which is the fake wood. Schwab, $73. This is an $80 stock. Nebius, this is one that has pumped. I think it's going for this gap fill up to 79. You're at $28 freaking dollars. Since February, it has just tanked from 50 down to 28. I'm looking at that one as the 4-hour entry gets you in. Boeing, this is a $220 stock if you want to sit in Boeing. TransAlta Corporation, interesting. I think I put that one in for the utilities sector. GE Vernova, which is a great stock, $298. Stephanie Link went over it. TLN. This one, a 4-hour algorithm entry, and under the 200-day and the 50-day, hopefully starts to turn positive. But look, that one was trading at 161. You're at 190 right now. So, morning, Scott. So yeah, I think that's a good list of. Let's see. We'll scan the Dow index. CRM, 3M, Boeing. Let's see the NASDAQ 100. Then the problem is a lot of these 4 hours are going to have, a lot of these are going to have entries just in a technical sense because yesterday was such a good day for most stocks, unless you held Apple in your portfolio, and there it was down yesterday. So I got hammered yesterday. But yeah, okay. I've got a full-on show, and now we'll do this. Yeah. I like that one. That one, I mean, I brought it up. I think it's an entry in the 4 hour because I think if I remember, let me see. Does NBIS trade well on that? I think it does. But that gap fill makes you 36% versus 91. But look, I mean, it just got you out with a 1.8% gain. This one, again, I like that gap fill up there to 79. So it's only got we only are able to back test 4 months on this one because it changed its name or something happened. I forget exactly the details of it, but I brought it up with the paid members and said, hey, the 4 hour looks really good on this one. It only made it over the last 4 months. It's got you 4 positions. So you make 36% versus buy and hold has made you, and the back test starts back here. So. Yeah. 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 You'll wait for a while, but I'm not an industrials guy. I'm not somebody who's, and by the way, I have no position in Boeing. So, I'm waiting for Apple to get back to 260. I may be waiting for longer than the astronauts are trapped on the space station as well. But that for me, if I'm putting money in, I'm betting on Boeing going back to where it was. So, now I think you're right, Scott. I'll go over all that. Okay. Let's start this show. Oh, I just heard her door close. That means she's leaving. Okay. Good morning. It is Thursday, March 13th, and yesterday's late show was perfect because I got to show you the market as it was going. And we saw some things, and we'll go over it. I've got everything from core PPI, inflation is dead. We have the breaking stock market initial jobless claims. We're going to talk about the bond market. We're going to talk about QQQ. We're going to talk about Tesla. We're going to talk about everything that I saw in the market yesterday. A stock that is paying a $3 dividend on a $9 stock if you hold it. We'll talk about, is that worth holding? We'll talk about DocuSign. Is the earnings tonight. We'll also talk about a social request from JS on Spotfiy. Love the podcast. I'm a young, naturally have a pretty high risk tolerance, heavily invested in the Mag 7, QQQ, VOO, and a couple of others. Thoughts on your just buy and hold strategy. And I'll give you some advice from Buffett. I had some discussion with friends, and we'll go over some scans. And that's going to be the show. So let's talk about yesterday. We popped. If you just look at a 4 hour chart here, and that's what I'm showing. We popped, and that green line that I drew, that green line that you're seeing on the screen, it is literally just a weekly trend line that was drawn from the COVID lows. It's nothing more than that. So there's no like genius strategy here. There's nothing. Remember, with a trend line, you're going to draw a trend line and touch at least 3 points. And for me, I drew the trend line here. You can see that support right there in June of 2022 turned into resistance into November 2022, turned into resistance all the way through April 2023 until we bounced back up. Then it provided legitimate, I guess, relative support in October 2023 when you dip down. And then you see the relative support again, April 15th, again, August 2024. And now you're seeing the relative support here. So are we going to bounce above there when you pull out into the 4 hour, you can see. And yesterday we had the anniversary of Jim Cramer saying nothing wrong with Bear Stearns. And then 6 days later, the stock was at zero. That's not the market that we're in. It's fun because Jim Cramer has crashed the market more than one time in his career saying everything is fine. But we are coming up on the 5-year anniversary, March 16th, 2020. The S&P was down 11%, the third worst day in its history. And if you didn't live through your portfolio being down 11%, my portfolio was down almost 30%, and then it went down 11%. It was a bloodbath, an absolute bloodbath. That's not what this is. This is just a relative pullback. Go into the weekly, and you're not seeing this. Okay, on the left-hand side of your screen, that was COVID. Okay, on the middle of your screen, that was 2022 when rates were rising. Okay, this feels bad. It's not bad. This is just your relative kind of push out here. And there are situations in the market that are happening. Okay, we can talk about some of the data. We knew inflation yesterday with CPI. Inflation was dead. This is PPI, the Producer Price Index. It's the cost of goods. Inflation's down. The Producer Price Index fell 0.1% month over month compared to the 0.3% consensus and decelerated from 0.5% in January. This translates to a year-over-year rise of 3.4%, trailing the 3.6 expected. So that's a lot of numbers. But the overall thing is that prices are coming down. Stripping out volatile food and energy costs, PPI stalled from a month earlier versus a 0.3% estimate. So the estimates overestimated that we were going to have high inflation numbers, but inflation is down. What does that mean? That most likely means that the Fed can cut rates because inflation is going down. Yesterday and today's numbers, we're going to have a meeting of the Fed, and most likely they can cut. Okay, initial jobless claims. I've said it many times before. Washington is going to have layoffs. We're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. And the reason you may not be seeing it is because severance is being paid. As somebody who's gotten laid off several times in my career, when you get severance, during the time when you accept severance, you can't apply for unemployment benefits. So that means that maybe those people 6 months from now or 3 months from now, however long the severance is, may be on the unemployment bandwagon if they don't get jobs. Again, the jobs market isn't that great. Go and try and find a job. It's tough. It's tough. So there you have the data. Now, I was on Spaces yesterday with JC Parrott, who's on the compound with Josh Brown a lot, and he's a really, really great guest. Understands chart. I think his Twitter handle is All-Star Charts. And he was saying the market's just giving us mixed signals. And this is what I've been saying. I don't know where this market is going. But I'll tell you this. If I look at a 5-minute chart, okay, we're going to look at a 5-minute chart and we're going to include after hours. And if I just pull that back and I told you that this was a weekly chart of a stock market, is this a buy and hold weekly chart that you would want to hold, something that just tanked down and then spread out there. If we just look at this and pull this back here, that's not a great looking chart. If you don't include the after hours and you just look at the regular, during the regular market hours, it's still not a great chart. So is this a market that you want to get into? For me, I want to buy and hold on the way down. Okay, the bond market is telling us, and this is a great Instagram look. Josh Brown and Michael Butnick, they went over this yesterday. Batnick, they went over this yesterday, and it's a great video to watch because Josh puts it perfectly. Okay, watch this clip if you were panicked. Josh explains it. That data is coming out that people are taking their 401ks and they're putting it into the bond fund. Okay, they're taking it out of equities and putting it into bond funds. That's panic. And it's not, hey, these are just a few people. Josh goes over it. There may be 20 million people who are doing this in their 401k because they're scared. Trump's trade war continues. Okay, the administration isn't giving us any guidance. This morning, he said that the tariffs that EU put on U.S. stuff, he's doing 200% tariffs on the alcohol coming out of the EU. So again, it's a trade war. It's a trade war with Canada. It's a trade war with Mexico. It's a trade war with the EU. It's a trade war with China. It's a trade war. That's not good for Americans because as these countries put tariffs on American goods, things that come into this country from those countries will be paid tariffs, and you pay the tariffs. And the administration is trying to tell you that you don't pay the tariffs. You pay the tariffs. I don't disagree that we need this type of thing, but you don't have the manufacturing set up in this country yet to make it worthwhile. And so Americans, what they're talking about with the pain, you will pay more for everything coming into this country. And it'll be good for the American-made products, but you're gonna raise inflation because American-made products will absolutely not have enough supply. It's a supply chain thing. So again, if they gave us some indication that we're just putting on tariffs to negotiate trade stuff, and I get it, they can't. But understand this. It is the chaos of this administration that is causing the market to give us signals that we don't know where we're going. Is it a buy opportunity? I said it yesterday in the newsletter. There are three ways that this market can go, this economy can go. Either this is a stalling economy. It's an economy that is leading to a recession, which means a slowdown and a contraction. Or we get stagflation. Go and read yesterday's newsletter if you want it. Go and watch this clip. It was great. It was a great clip. And yesterday, I said gap hunters would buy this chart in a heartbeat. This is exactly what I showed yesterday during the day. And I'll show it again today because it hasn't changed. Yesterday's market, even though it felt good, yesterday's 5-minute chart on this market didn't break out. It felt great. This is March 12th. This is yesterday. Right here, that's 11 o'clock. So what you saw was the inflation numbers get sold off. Okay, late in the day, you sold it off. Now you have this gap up here to 491. It looks like a great opportunity. But if we turn on after hours and we look at this, everything's getting sold off. So any rally that we have is getting sold off. It's not a market that you want to play around with. If you're not experienced in a market like this, it can hurt you. And I got messages from people, hey, my portfolio gains from the last year have been wiped out. That means you are not, if you're not up over 1 year, I mean, look at this. If we go to SPY, okay, I'm just going to go to SPY. I know VOO is the one that I want. 1 year, you're still up 8%. Year to date, you're down 4%. If you're not up, you're not balanced correctly. And yes, your risk may be good. Make sure that you have good companies that have good fundamentals, and they will come back. Okay, unless we go to recession or stagflation. If those two things happen, you're going to have a longer time frame for them to come back. And this isn't a case where you cut your losers because your losers are just losing. You cut your losers if they're losing companies. Something like Palantir that was trading at 200 times. When you go and look at the valuation, this was trading at a forward PE of 250, I think, at its top, when it was at 120. Something like that, you want to take money off the table. When it gets down to 100, even if you didn't sell at 120, when it gets down to 100, you want to take some off the table. Hope and pray is not a strategy. You have to have a strategy. If you're buying single stocks, you better know what's in your portfolio. If you know, for instance, if a financial analyst comes up and tells you, you're not diversified, you better have an answer. You may say, Warren Buffett doesn't believe in diversification. I want 10 stocks. I don't care if they're all tech heavy, but understand, if you are in tech, we can go and look at the market data and we can look at the sectors and we go year to date. Tech is down at the bottom. It's down 8%. Consumer discretionary is down 11%. If you go 1 year, technology is down at the bottom. It's up 0.31. So if you're focused on technology like the Mag 7, that's going to hurt. Now, if you're focused on utilities over 1 year, you're up 21%. Communication services, you're up 20%. So again, if you're panicked, go watch that clip. Go and make sure you're watching these charts. Now, let's talk about Tesla, okay? Because we just talked about QQQ not holding rallies. Well, Tesla went up yesterday on absolutely no fundamental news or any product announcement. And we have an entry in the 4-hour algorithm. Now, you may say, Gary, you say that the 4-hour algorithm makes you money. It does. It wins 43% of the time. Flip a coin. There are 24 positions, so you win 11 times. Okay, you lose 13 times during this time. But the gains greatly outweigh the losses. It's a cut the loser kind of thing. So that's how this Tesla 4-hour algorithm works. Is when you get in, your average win is 17%. Look at this win. Okay, from the election, October 22nd, it got you in here October 24th at 256. It got you out at 416. That's a 60% gain. Again, average win is 17%, even though you win. This is what I talk about as strategy, cutting your losers. So if you're going to trade Tesla, trade it in the 4-hour algorithm. It makes you, and you can see the results right there, 148% versus 25% buy and hold. Okay? But I have learned, and the mistakes that I've made on this stock is that I have not listened to the 4-hour algorithm, and I also have not bought and held. So I held through this entire downturn. It was $500, $1,000, I think, at its top. Now, do I think you should buy this? Well, Ron Barron knows something, okay? He has regular conversations with Tesla. Ron Barron just let the cat out of the bag. He knows more than we do about their exact plans. He talked about how they're going to monetize the cybercab and robotaxi network with the EV business looking like chump change. I think this is a robotics company. And if Ron Barron is right about this one, go and watch the clip. You should be buying and holding this stock. But again, a certain portion of my strategy is to buy on the 4-hour algorithm and sell when it says. So you want the 4-hour algorithm? Go over here. Linktree, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. It's right here. It's the second link. Sign up for Trendspider. They have trial periods, okay? 14-day trial periods. $10. You don't get my 4-hour algorithm when you sign up for the trial period, but when you sign up for a yearly plan, and I will know when you sign up for a yearly plan, you can email me. Here on Linktree, my emails are open, my DMs are open. I ain't ghosting you. I had some messages from people yesterday. I respond to everybody. But here, you can get this trial. Try Trendspider. I had a friend, my friend Steve and I talked last night. Steve is the guy that I developed the 4-hour algorithm with. And both of us said, I said, Steve, I'm not giving people the 4-hour algorithm for 14 days. And the reason is because we spent months and months developing that 4-hour algorithm. Okay. It looks easy when you get it. It looks simple. But the reality is it works. And so when I tell you I'm not going to give it to you for 2 weeks, the reason is I don't think you can learn Trendspider in 2 weeks. It's too big of a program. It's too big of a hurdle. Many of you don't even know charting. Go and get a free chart. Don't even try this trial, okay? Don't try this trial and think in 2 weeks I'm going to become a charting expert. You won't. Go and learn the fundamentals of charting. It's not hard. Google MACD, Google RSI. Go and watch some YouTube videos. Go and read some articles on it. Go to Trendspider University. Just Google that one, and you can find everything that you need. But do not think that you're going to try this and all of a sudden become an expert. That's why I give you all my tools when you sign up for a yearly. I point people towards this advanced tier. And the reason is they give 52-week trainings per year. You can get one training per week. So if you want the 14-day trial and get a training, you can get a training during your 14-day trial. But the reality is, I urge you to sign up for the year, try Trendspider, and get it. I can't live without it. It is one of those tools that I just can't live without. And Tesla is a perfect example. Okay? Jim Cramer last night, find a strategy. He said, hey, at some point in time this year, Larry Williams, who is a legendary technician, he's been the best in the business. He is predicting that Tesla is going to hit $500 sometime in 2025. Watch this video. Okay. I would urge you that if you think that that's true, $250 is nothing. You're going to double your money this year. Is it possible? Could be. This stock has defied odds. It has dismayed everybody. I had a buddy. We'll go and take a look at. Let's take a look at a monthly chart, because September 2018, me and my buddy both bought Model 3s. Okay, September 2018. That was here. Where was stock trading? 21. Remember, this stock went to 400. He took his entire portfolio and put it into Tesla. He loved the car that much. The man is retired today with much more money than I have, and he still holds this stock. It's buy and hold. When I urged him at $400 to sell his stock, I said, you've got to sell the stock. I said, it's just too expensive. It's crazy. And that was at about $250, $260 during the last downturn. He said, listen, even if it goes down to $100, my average purchase price is $20. He said, my lifestyle doesn't change. That's his if you're going to invest in something like this, and this on a monthly doesn't look that extended historically. The RSI is only at 50. And again, Larry Williams is telling you, hey, you want to buy this one. The 4-hour algorithm is telling you that you want to buy. Find a strategy. That's the key to this. I say it. Find a strategy for Tesla. It's been a great trading stock for 10 years now. My 4-hour algorithm makes you more money than buy and hold. That's my strategy. I have missed out on buy and hold on this one. So a portion of mine is buy and hold, but I will trade a portion as well. So just understand that. One stock that I'm going to look at. We're going to look at this first. Technically, fundamentally, business-wise, I like Broadcom. Now, here's 4 charts that Trendspider posted last night. It's been a rough quarter. Not for everyone. With a quarterly relative performance score of 95 plus, meaning they are outperforming at least 95% of the S&P this quarter, here are some of the strongest names. There's Broadcom. I love Broadcom. I told Steve last night, who developed the 4-hour algorithm with me. He bought a bunch of NVIDIA. I said, barbell approach, I think you should be buying Broadcom. We just had an entry in the 4-hour at 189. You're trading at 193. It's going to fight to get above this 200-day. On a weekly, this one still looks a little extended. But I think for the long term, I think this is a good buy and hold. It's not, it is super, super expensive. If we see a drawdown in the economy, this one could get hurt. The quant has it as a hold. Why? Valuation. The only reason this is because of valuation. You can see the grades haven't changed on this quant. This is the quant in Seeking Alpha. Now, Wall Street says it's a strong buy. Okay, there are 40 analysts that cover this. 28 say strong buy. There are 5. There are no sell. None. Okay, their average price target is $250. That's a 28% upside. Has it gotten to $250? You damn well believe that it's gotten to $230 and $240. It hadn't gotten to $250. Will they chase it down? Let's see. Maybe, but they're going up. And so I believe in this stock. Now, if you don't like this one, look at the other ones. There's Taiwan Semi. Taiwan Semi makes all these chips. Go and invest in it. Credo, which is the number one top 2025 stock from Seeking Alpha. This one, this pullback could be your opportunity at $47. I bought it $70. You want to know why? Because I like the 4-hour algorithm. And I said here, the 4-hour algorithm for me at least makes me money. It doesn't beat buy and hold on Credo, but it makes you, it does now, 376%. And by the way, it just got you in at 47. Got a nice gap up here to 52. So maybe you like that. But again, when you look at this relative performance, that's the one that I like. Gilead, we just looked at that one. I'm not biopharma. Trenton asked me about that on the YouTube live. But in my mind, Gilead was a buy. I just don't know enough about biopharma. VeriSign and AZO, both of them, go and research them. Find your stock that you like. Do not listen to somebody. Do not listen to me. One that I've traded in the past. Here's a great example, Zim. Okay, this is a shipping company. Now, the reason I have traded this one is because of their dividend history. Okay, when you go into dividend history on this one, they have paid out tremendous dividends. Look at this. 2023, they paid $6.40. That's when I was trading it. Okay, it was a special dividend. They paid $2.81. They just announced $3.17 dividend to be paid in March. It's a $19 stock. Go and figure out that. But here's what I know about Zim. Okay, it's got 13% short interest, so it could wind up in a short squeeze. But when you pay out a dividend of $3, say today it's trading at $19, and they pay a dividend overnight of $3, the stock will open tomorrow at $16. Now, whether the stock goes up or down is depending on the buying and selling of the activity. It will go down because people will get the dividend, they sit there in the ex-dividend date, and then they will sell, so it will go down. Doesn't mean that it won't go up after the selling's over. But I like this stock for this dividend. And it was a strategy that I used. And it was a strategy that made me money. Now, the 4-hour algorithm makes you 21% in this stock. This doesn't include the dividend. Okay? My strategy on this one, it has you out of the stock right now. They just announced. Look at the ex-dividend date, March 24th. If the 4-hour algorithm gets me in, I want to get into this one. Okay, I want the dividend, and I will sell after the ex-dividend date. That's a strategy. That is a strategy you can use. Okay, that's when I'm talking about strategies. That's part of what you do. And if you don't want to do that, you just buy and hold some stuff. Earnings, another strategy that I like to play. DocuSign is declaring earnings today. Let's go over to Earnings Hub. Because I went over this one on Monday, I think, with the paid members, and DocuSign's announcing earnings. Reduced estimates on earnings per share. This is Michael Wiggins, who we love, D'Oliveria. This guy, I think, is a great analyst. And he's had a buy on this one since August 9th. He's up 33%. He had a buy on this one October 8th. He's up 19%. He had a buy on this one on January 17th. He's down 10%. But why is $92 a share on the bargain? He goes over it. Go and read that research, okay? And then what you do, if you don't know about DocuSign, you can look at the 4-hour algorithm. And I've said this, that buy right there, that's an alert that told me to buy. I didn't want to buy it. I bought a small portion and I got right out. But that alert right there, I didn't have confirmation, didn't like the way the chart looked, didn't like the fact that the 50-day was crossing down. I didn't buy it. When you look at the weekly, is it right up here against the 200-day? I said, I want to wait till earnings. And so last night, I went in and I looked at this guy, Michael Wiggins. I just went to Docu and I said, let me look at the Bulls and the Bears. And I found a bear one. DocuSign from February 11th. Don't sign me up. Okay? He's down 11% since he said sell this. Or I'm sorry, DocuSign is down 8%. So you would have saved 8% since he said sell. So you want to find somebody that knows the stock better than you do and read about it. You know, these are facts that they put in. They put in their, when you get down to the bottom, there's always a conclusion, and they will give you the conclusion. Right now, their analyst recommendations, that can tell you the conclusion. But you want to read the details of those things. Because if I'm going into a stock, I want a good stock with good products, with good profits, with good management. And if there's something else, you can analyze DocuSign with AI. There's enough in Seeking Alpha that you can do all the research that you need to do. Okay? Now, let's go over a social request. Because I'm going to do this, I haven't prepared for this. But JS says, I love the podcast. I'm young, so naturally I have a pretty high risk tolerance. You absolutely should when you're young, because you can recover. He's heavily invested in the Mag 7, QQQ, and VOO, and a couple of others. Thoughts on strictly buy and hold strategy? I think with the Mag 7, they're not all created equal. And we can go and look at this. The Mag S, if we just look at this is an equal weighted ETF of the Mag 7. And we're going to select symbols. And I'm going to put in kind of my Apple. Amazon is one of my favorites. Meta right now is a screaming buy. Google is one of my favorites. We just went over Tesla. We'll put in NVIDIA. Well, I've actually reached the max. We'll put it in NVIDIA. And we'll leave out, I think we're leaving out some. But let's just look at this because this is an equal weight, okay? So the orange line is Mag S equal. That blue line right there is Tesla. So the stocks aren't created equal. You can see a lot of them are created equal. They kind of trade in the same range. Mag S is up 22% over 1 year. Apple is up 25. Amazon's only up 13. Meta is up 23. Google's up 21. Tesla's up 39. And NVIDIA's up 25. So anything above that, use the Mag S as your baseline. And anything above it is outperforming. Anything below it is underperforming. But the ones that I say are screaming buy, Amazon. So they're not all created equal. Do I think at your young age you should be buying and holding? I think absolutely. I think you should be in VOO. 50% of your portfolio should be in something stable during this time. But you want to trade in and out of these names, and you want to figure out a strategy. Now, I was buy and hold with Apple because I still say Apple is a buy and hold. I still think Apple is a buy and hold. Even though its valuation doesn't make sense, I'm still buy and hold on that. But for you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to make mistakes. At your age, it's fine making mistakes, but take chances. I made my money strictly buy and hold. Now, I've sold Amazon. I made that mistake. I sold Netflix. I made that mistake. I sold Google during this time. I made that mistake. I didn't sell Microsoft. I held on to it probably way too long. I've made that mistake. I've made plenty of mistakes. I have not been optimal, but you can't be optimal. You have to do things that you're comfortable with. And that's the key. And so Buffett talked, and I'm going to put this in the newsletter. It's a quote. I have two views on diversification. If you're a professional and have confidence, then I would advocate lots of concentration. For everyone else, if it's not your game, participate in total diversification. The economy will do fine over time. Make sure you don't buy at the wrong price or the wrong time. That's what most people should do. Buy a cheap index fund and slowly dollar cost average into it. If you try to be just a little bit smart, spending an hour a week investing, you're liable to be really dumb. If it's your game, diversification doesn't make sense. It's crazy to put money into your 20th choice rather than your first choice. LeBron James analogy. If you have LeBron James on your team, don't take him out of the game just to make room for someone else. If you have a harem of 40 women, you never really get to know any of them at all. Charlie and I operated most with 5 positions. If I were running 50, 100, $200 million, I would have 80% in 5 positions with 25% in the largest. In 1964, I found a position I was willing to go heavier into, up to 40%. I told investors they could pull their money out. None did. The position was American Express after the salad oil scandal. In 1951, I put the bulk of my network into Geico. Later in 1998, LTCM was in trouble. With the spread around between the on-the-run versus on-the-run 30-year Treasury bonds, I would have been willing to put 75% of my portfolio into it. There were various times I would have gone up to 75% even in the past 2 years. If it's your game and you really know your business, you can load up. That's the advice. So do I think a buy and hold strategy works? Absolutely. But you've just got to make sure that you know the business that you're in. If you're buying Apple at $260, again, the 52-week range was $260. If you're buying it long-term buy and hold at $260, why? You better have a good answer. If you're buying Amazon at $220, again, the 52-week high is $242. If you're buying at $220 for a long-term buy and hold, why? You like the business? You don't want to wait, around. But if you're buying, not based on charts, even for long-term buy and hold, buy during weakness. Don't buy during strength. You can add to it during strength, but get your position at the right time. That's his point. I had a discussion with my buddy last night. I brought this up. One that came up on the 4-hour algorithm. He bought more NVIDIA based on the 4-hour algorithm. And yes, he and I both manage our portfolios based on the 4-hour algorithm. 116. Again, did you buy NVIDIA at 140? I added to my position at 140, but I didn't initiate my buy at a 52-week high. That's one strategy. Okay? The 4-hour algorithm helps. He bought NVIDIA and Meta on the 4-hour algorithm. Well, I'm sorry, he bought Meta. I don't think Meta has a buy on the, let me see. 610. It didn't get a buy on the 4-hour algorithm. He basically predicted it would. He wound up buying it. He said, I don't care. I'm just going to hold it. It's close enough for me. He knows the entry of the 4-hour algorithm, and he said, I'm just going to buy it. I'm going to anticipate it because I'm not going to sell it next week, even if it's below $600. Again, that's a strategy. There's so much focus on the Mag 7 when you buy VOO and when you buy QQQ that you're getting that. Do I believe that the Mag 7 will outperform? I do. But for you, you're going to have to believe that. So again, when you're buying QQQ and you're buying VOO, you've got a ton of exposure to the Mag 7. So just understand where your exposure is. And like Buffett says, get 5 names. And maybe for a lot of people, their exposure to the Mag 7 is good enough in QQQ and Meta. Or I'm sorry, and in VOO. I had 3 friends call me yesterday, and this is out of the, I charge my friends for the newsletter. Just full disclosure, I charge most of my friends for the newsletter. There's, my mom gets it for free. I try not to give it away because that devalues it for the people that pay for it. But I had 3 friends mention to me how great the newsletter has been for them navigating this market. So if you're not signed up for the newsletter, go over to Linktree. Okay, it's this link down here, Daily Stock Pick newsletter. It is a good newsletter. I wish I had my knowledge 20 years ago, and that's what I try and pass on is my knowledge in this newsletter. Okay, and one of the questions that I had from the Facebook group was, hey, will I ever do a This is Gary's History kind of podcast and the history of me, mistakes I've made and stuff like that? I think it's a good idea. I think I'm going to do it in a Walter kind of set. The OG listeners will know. I tell people that the people who invest in dividends or Walters, they're the 90-year-old guy who sits in a rocking chair with a blanket over his lap telling stories about how the good days were. That's going to be me talking about my history, but I will do it. Now, I did do scans on the 4-hour algorithm. I will put them in the newsletter. There's Tesla, there's MPLX, there's Google, the Cleveland Cliffs, Dell, NVIDIA, Amazon, PanW, INTA, PDD, EAT. EAT is just this one is pulled back. I think this is one of the top stocks, 145. Okay, if you were buying up here at 175 when it was up there, why not buy at 145? Is it stretched? You bet it's stretched. Look at that weekly. It's still stretched. Do I think it's coming down? I don't know. Nobody knows where this one's going. Okay, but fundamentally, it's still a good stock. Now, Wall Street says hold. There are 19 analysts that cover it. 14 of them say hold. But the average price target is 183. And here, within the last 90 days, 20 analysts have taken their EPS up. 17 analysts have taken their revenue up. So it's not like Wall Street is saying sell this thing. And the quant is 5 factors: valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, and revisions. I would argue momentum is the most important one, and that's an A+. 3-month performance up 14%. And you're seeing a nice little pullback here. And the valuation isn't stretched. Now, when you look at this one, let's see the short position. It's 9% short. So it could have been a short squeeze. But again, the valuation doesn't justify that. So find stocks that you like, and you can use Seeking Alpha. Go over to Top Stocks. Find your favorite sector. Maybe Celestica, which is information technology. Maybe this one's your favorite sector. Okay? This one has had a huge pullback from 133 to 89. What does Wall Street think that is worth? 140. And what did I do? I just went to Top Stocks and picked one out. That's how easy Seeking Alpha is. You should have tools that provide you support. And so my tools, Trendspider, which you can get on sale and try it out, and Seeking Alpha Premium and Alpha Picks. At some point in time, Alpha Picks portfolio, which is up 3 times what the S&P is up during the same time period since it was created, at some point in time, Alpha Picks starts returning a lot more because all the stocks in there are fundamentally good. What's not good is the momentum and the sentiment of this market. And so one of the things I'm going to do for the paid members is I'm going to do a bonus episode today. Stock sell-off slashes needed, market cap for new Russell 2000 editions. Okay, this is an investment firm, advisory firm, Stevens is the name of it. They went over microcap. Okay, I had no idea what this meant for the newsletter subscribers, the paid newsletter subscribers. I'm going to take this. I'm going to find a strategy for you. Okay? So if you have any questions, you can hit me up. You can hit me up. My email, my DMs are open. My email's up there. You can respond to the email. Just write me an email. Anything that you want. Okay? I will talk to you tomorrow. Okay. See you. Bye. Okay. I'm going to put you on a short countdown, and I'll be right back.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.
Okay. I'm back. Oh, let me position this. There we go. Deadly? I thought it was pretty good, Lucas. I've had some, like I said, my friends usually don't compliment me. They tell me I'm a douchebag. But for 3 of them to reach out yesterday and say they listened and they learned something. Oh, I don't want that. No. We're going to put that in there. I'm going to colorize it a little bit. Colorize that one. And then we're going to break that down. Okay. Bum bum. We're gonna green screen. And then we're gonna And we're gonna put this one in. And green screen, copy. Paste. And then I got to do a paid newsletter today too. 13 pod. Okay. Scott, you probably just haven't been listening so long. Oh, is Zim, you get 25% extra tax on the dividend? Yeah, but okay. I mean, Nathan, you're getting a $3 dividend on a $19 stock, and it's probably going down. And again, if the 4-hour algorithm makes you 21% versus buy and hold makes you 12%, the potential of it actually winning makes sense. So that's kind of the Zim strategy. Again, strategies don't always work. They may not make sense, but for some people it does make sense. So that's the point of, finding a strategy that works. May not work for everybody, but wow, I'm seeing some, let's see, Tesla's giving back some gains from yesterday. Taiwan Semi's giving back some gains. XLY, which is all Tesla. Shopify is still giving back all the gains. Palantir's giving back all the gains. PanW's giving back all the gains. Meta, almost under 600 again. Apple down almost 1%. Amazon under 200 again. Berkshire shot over 500 for some reason and then has just pulled back, and it's up 1.69% today. So, okay, with that, I'm going. AlphaPix hasn't been doing great, Lucas, but they are really poised. Again, I believe in Steve Kress's methodology and the history. And so during this time is when you want to buy some stocks like that. We got another one coming up on the 15th. I'll buy it again. I'm not dissing this one. I didn't work. The strategy didn't work out for me. Okay. Okay. I gotta run. I am closing on a real estate deal. So I gotta do that as well as a bunch of other stuff today. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay. See you. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart and fears.